and we're in Japanese World War II tunnels. This is authentic. It's how it was. We're on the border of Myanmar and Thailand, something you guys really got to see, not to mention an amazing city and town, that being Sangkhlaburi. Let's go, guys. What if the ground beneath your feet hid the darkest secrets of war? I'm standing very close to the Death Railway, where thousands perished building the line between Thailand and Myanmar. But beyond the tracks lie Buddhist caves that once were Japanese outposts, their walls whispering of strategy, suffering, and survival. These mountains conceal tunnels carved deep into stone, proof that Japan mastered one of the war's most secretive and effective tactics: tunnel warfare. Underground, soldiers could hide from bombers, move supplies unseen, and strike without warning, vanishing back into the earth. Today, I'm going into those tunnels, into the hidden world where desperation shaped the battlefield. So what really happened beneath the Death Railway, and why did Japan go to such lengths to fight from the shadows? Before we get too deep into this video, you'll need some context on the Death Railway, one of the most brutal engineering projects of World War II. Japan built this 415-kilometer railway between Myanmar and Thailand to supply its army and move weapons across Southeast Asia without relying on vulnerable sea routes. The goal was simple: connect their empire from Singapore to India through one continuous land corridor. But the cost was horrific. Over 100,000 laborers and POWs died from starvation, disease, and exhaustion. To protect the railway and their troops, the Japanese turned to one of the most effective and terrifying strategies of the war: tunnel warfare. They dug deep into mountains to store munitions, hide from Allied air raids, and build field hospitals invisible from the sky. These tunnels weren't just shelters, they were part of a hidden network that allowed Japan to fight, heal, and survive underground while the jungle above waged war. Let's take a look at Japan's tunnel system throughout the countries. Myanmar 30 tunnels, Philippines 150, Thailand 50. These are all very low estimates of the tunnels made by the Japanese army. And as we zoom in on Japan's stronghold, Iwo Jima, this housed 20,000 troops, over 400 tunnels, and 14 miles of tunnels. Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm sitting here in Sangkhlaburi, and this is Shane. He lives here now, great guy. And we're gonna go into something like some old Japanese World War II tunnels. There's a bigger story here that I'm gonna get into, but we're off one of the main roads here. And there was a rail line back in the day, World War II, that went right along here. Japan controlled this whole area. So we're gonna try and track down the caves. Hopefully we can get inside. Not a lot of people have been in here so far. This guy knows quite a lot. Really good English, by the way. So let's go and let's see if we can find it. As I go down here, I love it how the professionals here. Sean's got flip-flops and he's just flying down. Got tennis shoes and I'm like tripping over myself falling down the mountain. So here's one of the gates. Wow. Oh my goodness, here.
I went before, and it's just short time, like a 50 meter.
50 meter, okay. All right, here we go. Part of the Japanese tunnels that they were making, they didn't actually use these because it kind of got to the, was it the end of the war a little bit? The Allied forces were coming. Part of their plan, but they never used it. Rail line, not far from here. But anyway, let's go in and see. Yep, ready to go. come on, come on, let's go. So welcome guys to the World War II Japanese tunnel. Now this was never actually used back in the day towards the end of World War II. And this kind of goes all the way around. You're going to see a little bit later. And there's not a whole lot in here. But as you can see, the craftsmanship, the engineering, there's little pillar slots in here. You can see maybe where they would put lumber or support for these tunnels. And it just keeps going and going back there. And so you can go straight and then you can go right around there and it actually comes out on the other side.
By hand.
Yeah, wow. It's over 6 feet. Wow, look at him go through. So it's a room here, yeah? I see, wow, look at that. And it's a dead in here, but look at that, wow. Oh, there's a bat flying around. So this is probably more of a storage area that never got done. You can see as he's walking out. This is pitch black in here if you don't have a light. I've never seen him just sit up there. Wow, can you guys see that? Probably the light, they don't love it, but wow, look at that. And again, look at all, we have all these little pillar spots. It's all carved out right there, you can see. I'm thinking it's gotta be for support beams, but who really knows? Maybe they go up and around? I have no idea, we'd have to bring in an expert. And there we got the bat above. Wow, very good. There he is, the guy. So what was the purpose of some of these tunnels? If you go to Kanchanaburi and around, also when I was in the Philippines, Japan was very good at this during World War II. Kind of little outposts, field hospitals, supply, little depots. And basically, they were going to get bombed by the Allies. This was one way to kind of stay protected. I don't know if I'd want to be in here when they're bombing or anything like that, but you can see this was a huge strategy. And the tunnels are very methodical, very organized, very good structure. I mean, this lasted a very long time. And although they didn't really use it, I mean, you can see. Now, there apparently are more tunnels in this whole area, but are they stable and where they're hiding around here? That remains to be seen. But anyway, really phenomenal. If you want to see real history with this guy, I mean, this is the real thing. So we just literally took a different side out. Wow, look at this. Coming out. Frogs, bats, no snakes so far, thank goodness. So there's a real nice gentleman here. It's his land over here. And he was nice enough to let us come here and see this, which is pretty amazing. Like, site that even though there's not a lot inside, it's so authentic. And to know what happened here, the rail line just across the street there, guy's phenomenal. So thank you to this guy and to Sean, but let's keep moving. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm sitting here at Wat Tham Khao Poon. This is a cave in Kanchanaburi, very iconic for World War II when the Japanese were here. We're going to get into this and I'm about to go down. Let's see what we find. This is 9 chambers. There's a bigger story here. Let's go. So I was reading, it's going to get really narrow in here. Let's see how narrow it gets between chambers. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. You can see the tiled floors, and that's going to stop as we go lower and lower into this cave. So right now I'm the only one in here, and this is where it's going to start getting really tight as you go through the first, whoa, corridor here. Look at this. Whoa, oh my goodness. Look over here. Whoa. Now you can't go through there, but look at this doorway as we flip it around. We're going to have to somehow get through there. It's not that narrow, but it's narrow enough. Wow. And you can see here, whoa. Now these are all limestone caves in this western region of Thailand. And as you can see, whoa, this would be the perfect area for a mini base if you were Japan back in the day. Obviously, this is a Buddhist temple. We're going to pay respects here, but whoa, look at this. The roots of a plant going all the way up there. Whoa. You can see outside right there, a little hole going out. Wow. So you can see here, this is one of the small passageways, not the chamber. There's 9 chambers in here. And I would think during an aerial raid, like if the US came through and bombed this area, I don't know how well this would hold up or not, but the Japanese made plans for that, obviously. There's little spiders' nests everywhere here, by the way. So there's around 300 meters of pathways and chambers in this underground Buddhist temple now that was once a Japanese kind of stronghold. And it takes you about 45 minutes is what I was told if you walk around everywhere. I'll probably spend a little bit longer. But you can just see, this is why Thailand's so amazing. You can just go anywhere right here. And these corridors are so narrow, some of them. It's going to get a lot more narrow coming up. So after World War II, the Buddhist monks came in here and made this into a temple, a Buddhist temple. I have to go through there, by the way. And so this is very iconic. You're going to see a lot of Buddha statues going through here. Sometimes they're burning incense. You can smell it in the air. And then you're going to get these amazing caves and corridors. So let's keep going. Oh man, this is so narrow. Wow, I have a backpack on and I'm barely getting through. Let's put it around. Wow. Gotta go under one more. Oh man, I think if you're about 6'5", I don't think you could get through that. Oh, and I just hit my head. Oh, wow. I am sweating bullets in here, oh my goodness. So this cave is only 4 kilometers away from the Death Railway. Very, very close. Ooh, as I go through. And this was definitely one of the strategic outposts, not to mention a field hospital that if you go in some areas, now this is the larger chamber, they said with white walls. Now this might be all natural, but with white walls, that was the field hospital at the time. So when I heard about the lights here, I wasn't a big fan of that, but actually the red light and the red glow makes it that much more kind of eerie, a little more iconic. And you're going through here. I wasn't expecting that at all. But as you can see, there's pathways just all over the place. You can go right up in there. And let's go into the first chamber that I can find, straight ahead. This might be the biggest chamber out of all of them. It's the first one I stumbled into. They have the Buddhist statue behind us. Very peaceful in here. It's a little eerie, but very peaceful. And as you go around, you can see how dark it can kind of get as you go inside. I don't even know. Oh, there's bats flying in here. A bat just buzzed me. There's a really dark cave in there. And yeah, I might go in there later. but a bat just buzzed me for sure. So anyway, let's keep going. Another bat just flew by. So what evidence do they have that the Japanese soldiers actually came here and made this kind of an outpost and a field hospital? Well, the locals came into this cave after World War II, and there were remnants of helmets, Japanese clothing, guns, so many other souvenirs. Actually, if you go to the Jeth War Museum off the river in Kanchanaburi, you can find a lot of this. There's so much there. Very old museum, but well worth it. And so they knew for a fact this is one of the strategic locations used by the Japanese, and it's right off the river. In 1995, a Burmese, Myanmar, and Thai newspaper, the Thai Post, reported that buried treasure, actually occupational currency that the Japanese used in World War II, was unearthed not far from here, very close in Myanmar, kind of just barely across the border by some Karen villagers. Now, when they found the occupational currency that Japan used here building the Death Railway, there's a POW here in Kanchanaburi living, and he verified at the time that that was actually occupational currency that the Japanese used, and he was here surviving through the Death Railway and much other worse circumstances. But it has been verified, not to mention many people think there's other treasure currency buried here in these mountains, also in the Philippines, but the legend still grows. But at least one case has been successfully verified. So as far as I can see, the main chamber is right here, all in here. There's another chamber, as a bat flies near my head, right in there. It's pitch black, full of bats. I can't go in there. There's another one around the corner here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, 5 right there, 6 as you go up the stairs. And I'm not sure when they say 9. There may be some other ones that are, actually there's one right over there underneath the rock. That would be 7. And as you go out, there might be one more, and as you come in, a very small one. That would actually make 9. But basically this big room in here, you're gonna sweat a ton. But it's a fun little adventure. It costs nothing. It's got a lot of history here. And when you match it up with the Death Railway, definitely take that train if you can. It goes right around the river into the town. It's phenomenal. It all kind of comes together here. Now, when you do exit the cave back there, you can see that structure. Super interesting, maybe one of the better parts. You can see all the old photos of what everything looked like back in the day, from the POWs working on the railway to the conditions to just about everything, and you can see how far down it goes. Really authentic, something you definitely need to see if you come here. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate this episode of Traveling on the Go. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Anything else I can do for you, I am here. That's going to do it. I am out of here. We have a lot more adventures coming up, like into the deserts of Dubai, and the biggest waterfall system in the world in Brazil. Take care, guys.